Wow, and what an incredible fitting evening it's going to be here in the Great Hall. Good evening, everyone. I'm Steve McLaughlin. I'm the president of the Cooper Union for the Advancement of Science and Art, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you to this historic Great Hall. For those joining us for the first time, the Cooper Union is one of the nation's best colleges for students pursuing degrees in architecture, art, and engineering with a focus on the humanities and social sciences. And on behalf of our students, we are in the midst of working to restore the legacy of our founder, Peter Cooper, who believed education should be as free as air and water. Through the generosity of so many, we're making great strides towards eliminating the burden of tuition for all undergraduates. In fact, today, every student receives a half-tuition scholarship, and nearly 60% of our students attend tuition-free, and we are well along the path to returning to full tuition scholarships for all students. If you're inspired by our goal, please join us. We'd be happy to share more with you and how to do so. In this very room for more than 165 years, the Cooper Union has provided a free public forum for artists, activists, and visionaries from all sectors and fields to connect with New Yorkers, shaping the culture of their city and beyond. I'm pleased to say that this place remains a place where creative and critical voices meet. In fact, the Great Hall has attracted an extraordinary range of these voices, including filmmakers. On the east side of this building, you can view a window exhibition celebrating that very legacy. The windows highlight the many different films, filmmakers, and film critics who have come through the Great Hall, as well as many extraordinary Cooper graduates have gone on to work in cinema at the very highest levels. We're incredibly grateful to the Robert David Lyon Gardiner Foundation. Their generous funding supports tonight's program and our ongoing Gardiner Foundation Great Hall Forum series. So again, welcome. We are deeply honored to be hosting an incredible constellation of people for the screening of a very special film event tonight. Now, I'd like to thank and introduce our co-hosts for this amazing evening. Nicole Ansari is more than just a film, TV, and Broadway actress. Nicole is a true advocate for people in need from all over the world. We welcome her and her husband, who really needs no introduction other than legend. Legend as an actor, legend as a humanitarian. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our co-hosts, Nicole Ansari and Brian Cox.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. It is such an honor for us to be here tonight, for Brian and I to be co-hosting in this incredible place. I just want to say a few words about the subject of this film. And it's the people of Afghanistan. And the people of Afghanistan, they are part of our DNA. In the last, I was going to say century, but yes, in the last century as well. The people of Afghanistan have been trampled upon and brutalized by corrupt men and governments. In this film, The Champion of the Golden Valley, it gives us a glimpse of how important it is to see the people of Afghanistan as humans and to show them as they truly are, because they are resilient, they are brave, they're conscious, and they're kind. Something that has been taken for granted is kindness in this world. And I'm going to hand this over to the legend, my husband, Brian Cox.
The legend. I can tell you it's a terrible burden being a legend. I will not recommend it to anybody. But it is indeed an honor, a great honor to be in this incredible hall, this great hall. And considering the people who have been here and been through here in the past, it's a very special honor. And it's a special honor to be supporting this documentary, especially in these difficult and very unsettling times. The recent and unfortunate events in Washington have now put a target on the back of many Afghans here in this country, many of which actually served alongside American military troops in the Afghan campaign, oftentimes saving US Marines. Now is the time, more than any other, to stand side by side with our Afghan brothers and sisters, and yet again have to face the impossible. Thank you for being here. It is my honor to introduce one of the executive producers of the Champions of the Golden Valley, Ariane Moyed.
Brian Cox is a legend, and it would be amazing before we start and I say anything, maybe a good little fuck off to everybody.
No,
just, you know.
Tell people to fuck off.
Brian is a legendary actor, but really, whenever there is a moment that you need, where there's an injustice in the world, and you need advocates, you call Brian and Nicole, because they come and stand up for you. So thank you, Brian. Thank you, Nicole.
Can we go back to our
Yeah, go for it. I want to also thank President McLaughlin for this incredible opportunity, and thank you all for coming out into this cold to come see this glorious movie called Champions of the Golden Valley. It's honestly one of the most inspiring movies and documentaries I've ever seen. I want to also thank the Robert David Lyon Gardiner Foundation and its executive director, Catherine Curran. I want to thank Jamie Levitt, the chair of the Cooper Union Board of Trustees. And of course, I want to re-thank Steve McLaughlin, the president of Cooper Union. Last year, around this time, a year and a half ago, I was at the Tribeca Film Festival, and I was on a panel from the Muslim House talking about Muslim representation in the arts. And this group of amazing filmmakers came up to me, and they said, we just shot a documentary about Afghanistan, shot in Afghanistan about skiers. And then about 3 or 4 months goes by, and I'm at another film festival, and I'm getting emails and texts from my veteran friends asking me, have I seen Champions of the Golden Valley? And when you have Afghans and you have veterans telling you to see the same movie, that's when you know you have something very special. And that's what this movie is. I immediately knew that this is something that the world needs to see. It needs to see because Afghans are always thought of as secondary, the human beings that suffer from all of these incredible atrocities that these men and organizations have put upon them. And so to have a resilient story of hope and bravery through sports and skiing makes it one of the most impactful movies that I've been a part of. Listen, I'm gonna, and having to do this alongside Malala is just kind of like a dream come true. You're going to hear a lot about me from the talkback. That's going to happen directly right after the screening. I will be moderating with the filmmakers who shot this in Afghanistan, FYI. Keep remembering, this was shot in Afghanistan in 2019. And of course, Malala will be here itself. Without further ado, enjoy Champions of the Golden Valley.
قسم میکنیم مردم ما یک خیالاتی داریم یا یک رویایی به سر داریم که شاید روزی مثل یک ستاره در بالای کوه بریم.
They could bring this community together by organizing this ski competition. This is my faith. I have to try my best to build this country in a positive way. The young generation, they want peace. Peace will never come in Afghanistan through fighting. It was a dream, when now you just wake up and wish to go back.
Challenge!
Women and men together on the mountain in a peaceful way.
یک شعری است که بنی آدم اعضای یکدیگرند که در آفرینش یک گوهرند که روزی به درد آورد روزگار دیگر روزها را نماند قرار.
People don't give up easily in Afghanistan.
Well, that was really nice. Thank you all. What an amazing movie, isn't it? It makes you feel all the feels. Thank you so much for all coming. You know, we have a limited amount of time, so we're gonna go quick, all right? Thank you all for coming again. Thank you, Cooper Union and everyone else. I wanna start with Malala.
Okay. I have made like the least contribution to this documentary.
You weren't
I'm
filming
doing
this
the
on the
easiest-
mountains?
No, I was not there at all. I have no idea how cinematography, I can't even pronounce it. Cinematography happens, but it is absolutely the incredible talent of this amazing team who have made it possible. And I'm just honored that I can be a part of it and talk to more people about this. And I know,
What made you, Malala, what made you want to be involved in a movie like this? What made you want to say, oh, I want to back something like Champions of the Golden Valley?
So firstly, I knew that not a lot of people were talking about Afghanistan. We know that the Taliban took control. The situation has really worsened for innocent people there, especially women and girls. So when I heard about this documentary, I knew that this could be a really powerful way to raise awareness about how things have completely changed for Afghan people. And then I also was thinking about my own time when we were living under the Taliban's terrorism in the north of Pakistan. And we also have a ski resort in my beautiful valley. So when I was seeing Bamyan, I was thinking about my hometown. And I just, realized how even these small moments of joy can be so precious when you can be with your friends and family, or you can ski together, like you have these small dreams, and these people come in who spread fear and terror, and they take away that normal life away from you. They take away your dreams. So I knew that this story needs to be told. The Taliban bombed the ski resort in Swat Valley as well. I'm just, of course, really happy that things have changed a lot and the skiing is back, but I hope the same thing happens in Bamyan and the whole country of Afghanistan as well. I hope that we will share our support and solidarity with Afghan people and really advocate for peace in Afghanistan.
I'm going to ask the filmmakers a question on how they all got involved in shooting a documentary in Afghanistan. How did that all happen? Who wants to? Maybe Ben? Why don't we start with you?
Great. My name is Bakhtash Ahadi. I'm a producer on the film. Thank you all so much for being here. It's a delight to see all these beautiful faces in the crowd. Thank you. I think before I get to that piece, I was not part of the production in terms of being on the ground. That's something Ben can speak to. But what I will share is, I think what's wonderful about this film, what I really love about this film is that it's something deeply personal in my experience. As a filmmaker, my family is originally from Afghanistan. And so I was Jamal's age when my family came to America. Alishah's son, Jamal. And what this film really, really speaks to is the sacrifices that refugees go through. I'm sure there are sons and daughters of refugees in this room. Hopefully this gave you an insight in terms of what our parents went through. It's something that continues to happen as it pertains to Afghanistan. More refugees continue to come and leave because of what's happening in the country. And so for me, what I really loved about this film, or what speaks to me about this film, is that it redefines that Afghans are not defined by their trauma, but in fact, by their spirit. And so hopefully that's what you witness here today.
Ben, talk to us how you ended up in the Bamiyan Mountains shooting this film. I mean, like, seriously, how did all that come together?
Yes, so I'm the director of the film, and I shot and edited it as well. And it has been a long journey from start to finish. And I just want to say that I'm so proud of this whole team that has come together to make it happen. It's grown like a snowball over the years and just turned into something much bigger than we ever could have imagined. So back in 2019, I actually come from the world of skiing and snow sports, and I grew up in Alaska in the mountains, and I always was in love with just snow and being in the winter and in the mountains. And I transformed that into a career, filming in snowy mountains around the world. And I'd heard through the grapevine of that community just about this almost mythical ski race called the Afghan Ski Challenge. And it just sounded so improbable, you know? Like, most people, first of all, don't even know that there is mountains or snow in Afghanistan, much less skiing. And just I'd seen photos of just homemade skis and this really, you know, just like cobbled together, just like ingenious form of skiing. And I was like, wow, we've got to go make a film about this race. And so I went over there, and as you know, I intended to make a ski film, not a ski film, but just a story about skiing. And what I discovered was just so much deeper and full of more heart and love and joy, and the resilience and ingenuity of the people there just astounded me. And that really, seeing that firsthand is really what has driven with us to stick with this project for the past 6 years and really dig into it as so much change for their community and to try to really do justice to their story.
Ben? Yeah. So you started shooting the film in 2019. Prior to the fall of Afghanistan, and where were you in 2021 when it was falling? Like, what were you thinking? What was happening? Tell us a little bit about that journey.
I want to let Katie talk because I feel like that's a great question for her.
This is one of our amazing producers. Katie, tell us a little bit about when 2021 happened and how you adjusted.
Well, to link that together, Ben and I are partners on this film and partners in this life, and Ben set out to go to Afghanistan, spend a month there to make a portrait of a mountain culture. And the point of the film we set out to make was about the vibrancy, the resourcefulness, the strength of this community, and that's the film we intended to make, is to tell a different story about Afghanistan. And in 2021, I was lightly involved in the logistics. I didn't go film on the ground in Afghanistan, but in 2021, we all on this stage were involved intimately in the evacuation and trying to find safe passages and to get people out of Afghanistan safely. And actually, we ended up working with the Malala Fund, and there was, people, mutual friends. We were working with volunteer veterans, NGOs, international governments, journalists, this incredible community of humanitarians to support people getting out the country. And Alishah was able to get out through the support of some Italians. He actually went to Italy first before Germany. But we ultimately were involved in getting out a number of the female skiers and other female athletes. And I would say witnessing, like the footage you see in the film is from their cell phones. And we had all had a front row seat of just the unimaginable. And, so we had set out to make this endearing, joyful ski film in Afghanistan, and in August 2021, we really just focused our effort into supporting our friends in Afghanistan. And we put the film on the shelf. We weren't sure what that film would become, and there was a very specific conversation we had with Alishah, and he said, when I'm in the supermarket, people label me as a refugee, and I just wish they knew I was a skier. I wish they knew I was a coach. And it just changed everything for us. And we said, okay, this film started off as one thing, and now it's going to become another, because the truth is that I think we felt an obligation and a responsibility that we filmed this vibrant community when they were intact. And most refugee films are starting at the peak of someone's loss. But what was so special about Bamiyan is they already had such strength of community and vibrancy and just beauty.
and they didn't want to leave their homes. And I think we just wanted to do this story in a different way. So this project took us 6 years, and we never could have dreamed being on this stage with Aryan and Malala and just the champions like that have come along the way. This is a dream come true every time we get to share it, but especially tonight here at Cooper Union. So thank you.
Malala, I'm going to ask you, do you think, you know, with the Malala Fund, you have a lot of schools across the globe giving an opportunity for young girls specifically to have education. Do you want to talk a little bit about the school in Afghanistan? Do you want to talk about the updates of what happened with the Malala Fund there?
So Malala Fund was supporting Afghan education activists for many years, and when the Taliban took control, of course, they were threatened, and then we helped them in their evacuation. But since then, we have ensured that we keep supporting them while they are in exile. They are asking countries to hold the Taliban accountable for the crimes that they are committing, and they are also providing alternative education to Afghan girls who are banned from going to school. You know, right now, it really worries me when I hear the news of the Taliban issuing more decrees, edicts, these new orders restricting women from work, education. Like, it has been more than 4.5 years, and girls have not been able to go to secondary schools. And at the same time, they're against art, entertainment, fun, sports as well. So, you know, this livelihood that Afghan people had is suddenly just a dream for them. But I really admired the resistance and courage of Afghan activists, especially the Afghan women that we support through Malala Fund. They're not giving up, and they're asking us for our support and solidarity. And sometimes, you know, I reflect on what can we do, and it feels like we're helpless, like we all go through that. But then I remember that nothing scares the Taliban more than an educated girl. Nothing scares them more than an Afghan person speaking out. You know, the Taliban want women to be silenced, so we need to make their voices louder. They do not want the artists to sing, to express their art. We need to make their art visible. We need to make sure that they are leading us. They are the true future of Afghanistan. So more visibility for Afghan women and girls and for these artists, for these incredible young people is the true fight against the Taliban. So I still stay hopeful and optimistic, and I am thinking about the Afghan girls who we are supporting through the underground schools. And I had a conversation with 4 Afghan girls, and they were telling me that they are still remaining hopeful because they're trying to learn secretly. And one girl said that even reading a book alone in her room is an act of resistance against the Taliban.
I'm going to actually ask Ben. There are some, I mean this, genuinely stunning pieces of cinematography in this. So you are genuinely, also you have to, for the filmmakers and non-filmmakers, he's doing slow motion on the fly. He has a drone. He does not have a team of people. It's genuinely something else. Ben, talk to us about those moments where you're like, y'all, I'm gonna try a drone shot. I know we have one take at this, but talk about a little bit of that feeling that you were going through, and what kind of made you make those choices?
Yeah, I've always...
how were you staying warm?
So cold.
I just could not imagine being there, but anyway. Sorry.
Well, I am from Alaska, so it came in handy, that background. But I think my visual style, I always, when I go someplace, I don't know, I like to get the camera really close and right in there with the subjects and just feel like you're part of their inner community, you're a part of their group. And I also like to get like really low and just like a kid looking up at this world that it's in awe of, because our world is amazing, and we so often forget that when you get all high and you're looking down on things, you know. And it's just the child's perspective. So I would go into these rooms full of Afghan people, and I would just like kind of just like lay on the floor, and they'd like laugh at me as I'm holding my camera up and like filming up at them. And you know, a lot of times we didn't have a translator, and I'd say that was the most difficult thing. Would be kind of just like entering a room and just sort of just like trying to like fall into the background and just become like a part of their community for a short time. So that is something that I really try to do with my cinematography. And I'd also say in terms of filming in the mountains, the beautiful thing, again, with the communication, because filming is also just about communication. It's about, you know, lining things up and getting things in the right place. And I think that the fact of navigating in the mountains and in avalanche terrain, as I was going up the mountains with these guys, they were just showing me around in their backyards. You know, they were showing me their favorite ski runs. And, you know, you have to be careful. There are a lot of avalanches in Afghanistan. The snowpack is very unstable. And they would show me these amazing runs, and like we learned together, like one another. We learned one another through navigating in the mountains together, and through the act of skiing and the act of sport. Like we instantly, I don't know, I feel like we became fast friends just through this like simple act of engaging in sport. And it really does so easily bridge boundaries, and it is this interpretive tool to get to understand one another so quickly when you just engage in sport and like physical activity and spending out time, outside time with one another. So that for me was my like way to get access to that community. And it was really wonderful because they were like, wow, I just want to like ride your snowboard. And I rode their skis, you know, and we just quickly swapped our knowledge and became fast friends. And I think that's how they granted me the access to be able to get all those amazing shots, honestly. And I'm just so grateful that they opened their doors to me and allowed me into their community in that way.
And one thing I'll say about Ben, I mean, he's such a wizard, but the drone it was so cold and it was blizzarding during the Afghan Ski Challenge, and the battery did almost die. So thank you to the powers that be, because we probably wouldn't have had a movie if we couldn't have filmed the end of the race scene. So thank you, Ben, thank you, batteries, and it worked out.
Bakhtash, I want to ask you about your time as an interpreter. I want to ask you about the Afghan people. I want you to tell us a little bit about some of your experiences in trying to navigate this kind of tricky world and society that we live in that demonizes a group of people that have nothing to do with the actions of a few. Like, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so before I decided to become a filmmaker, I spent 3 years with the Marines as an interpreter in Afghanistan. And first and foremost, for any veterans in the audience, thank you for your service. God bless you. What's interesting about being an interpreter and living in these worlds is that you have to convey messages and meaning. And that's ultimately what storytelling is, and that's ultimately what filmmaking is what is the meaning we're trying to get across. And so that experience, I really attest to the fact that, like, first and foremost, I describe it as something that I'm grateful that I've done, but that I'm also grateful that I'll never have to do again. And then to kind of show and kind of offer, you know, so many people have served in Afghanistan. During the surge, there was something like 52 countries that had served in Afghanistan. It was a global effort. And what Champions of Golden Valley kind of also shows then is what happened when the United States decided to leave Afghanistan and what that meant for so many people. We as Americans gave that country and those people hope, and then we pulled it away. And America took in 100,000 people, 100,000 Afghans over the course of 1 month. Probably people in this audience were part of that effort. We were. And what's happening now in terms of the demonization of Afghans is not only unprecedented, it's completely unfair and it's dangerous. So not only did we betray Afghans once, but we're doing it again in terms of putting their lives in fear. Initially, they came here because their lives were in danger and they were scared. And now they're scared again. And so we as Americans, you know, my family, like, I love America because I believe America should be united in its diversity. And what's coming out now in terms of rhetoric is extremely harmful. And so what I love about our film is that it reframes the Afghan people in terms of having humanity versus this idea of what headlines are and how Afghans fit into those headlines. So I think that's what this film does. That's what I love about our film. Yeah.
Katie, I know we're all five of us up here are not great at like self-promotion, but I am going to say something about this film that needs to be said. Is that this is one of the most awarded films of this entire Oscar season. How many? Talk to us about the struggles of just going through the journey of making a documentary in this climate about Afghan. I mean, like, there's a lot of things going against us. How did you get to this point? Talk a little bit about that.
You know, after watching the film tonight, it's like, it feels a lot like making wooden skis and hiking up a mountain in a blizzard is kind of what releasing a documentary in this current climate is like. And, you know, I think back at one point you could make a film and pass it off to the distributors, but really now filmmakers are becoming their own distributors. And it's just been an interesting journey because there is something about, we've really struggled with the big streamers who say, no one wants to watch a film about Afghanistan or refugees. And I think that's been really difficult, so I will just put on my producer hat and say reviews really matter. Give us a rating on IMDb and Letterboxd, tag us on Instagram, like tell a few friends, because documentaries are so important because they show a different side of things. And I think in a time where there's so much fear, so much division, so much intolerance, you know, there's so much othering. And it's so interesting how the power of the film, how sitting in this room together and watching a story can shorten the distance we need to travel to understand each other. And so that's why I'm in film, that's why we're all in film, because we know the power of a story to just make you think differently. One of our EPs, Doug Blush, says, after you get to know someone through a film, it's hard to fear them. It's hard, we fell in love with the people of Bamiyan, and we wanted to share that with you. We do have some exciting news that we get to share next week about where your family and friends will be able to see the film, and we're really thrilled about that.
We
can't tell you yet.
But it's very exciting.
But it's very exciting, and I think we just feel so honored that eventually this story will have a platform, because we do feel that these stories are ones that need to be told about our shared humanity.
And not only will you be able to watch it, but it'll honor the people of Afghanistan, and it'll honor the people of Bamiyan, which is going to be great.
I'm just going to have the last words come from Malala. And one thing that we've been talking about, and this has been called the underground story of the year, which is true. And underdog story of the year, sorry.
Also underground.
We
are underground
both.
right
but
here.
But underdog story of the year, which is very, very true. And one way that we can maybe help, and all of you all can do as well, I'm going to have Malala talk a little bit about.
First of all, I would like to just thank everybody who's here with us. It is support to the Afghan people. It is a form of support for this incredible documentary. So thank you so much for already taking this step. I think there's more steps that you can take after this. It would be so helpful if you can share about this documentary with your friends, your colleagues, and spread the word. Let's keep talking about it. As I said, we cannot let Afghan women, Afghan people become invisible. This is exactly what the Taliban want us to do. Let's join the Afghan people and resist against the Taliban. So let's make the stories of Afghan people more visible, and let's support this documentary. And you can take a step, like right now, I'm sure like you guys will go on your phones, like within 5 minutes when you leave, because everybody loves going on their screen. So when you go on your screen, you can go to your Instagram, which I'm sure everybody goes on, right? Because I'll also be doing it myself. So you need to find this account. It's called @ChampionDoc. And you will find, you know, the Instagram account of this documentary. You can receive all the updates, and yeah, just keep following it and keep spreading the word. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I take a selfie?
There's
one more thing I want to say. There's a QR code up there that I'm being told does all that, so please do that as well. And or this one right here. Before we leave, I just want to thank Cooper Union one more time. And thank you so much, Cooper Union. Thank you.